Nobody expected Mating Season to become one of the weirdest adult animated shows Netflix has released this year, because on paper, this sounds completely ridiculous. A bunch of horny forest animals dealing with dating, cheating, loneliness, breakups, and emotional disasters. Yeah, it absolutely sounds like pure chaos. And honestly, sometimes it is. But what surprised me most is that underneath all the awkward jokes and relationship insanity, the show actually has a real emotional core. Created by the same people behind Big Mouth, Mating Season follows a group of animal characters navigating modern relationships inside this chaotic forest world filled with raccoons, deer, foxes, bears, and emotionally broken weirdos everywhere. And the animal concept honestly works way better than I expected, because the show uses these animal personalities to exaggerate human behavior in really clever ways. The raccoon acts like a walking red flag. The deer constantly makes terrible romantic decisions. The bear feels emotionally exhausted all the time, and somehow, that chaos feels weirdly relatable. What makes the show interesting is that it's not really about sex, it's about loneliness pretending to look like confidence. And that is where the series becomes much smarter than it first appears. A lot of critics are comparing it directly to Big Mouth, and honestly, they're not wrong. You can feel the same DNA everywhere: awkward humor, emotional insecurity, chaotic relationships, uncomfortable conversations, shock value comedy. But Mating Season feels slightly more adult emotionally, less about puberty, more about people realizing adulthood is emotionally exhausting. And honestly, that idea hits harder than I expected. The show is also surprisingly self-aware. It knows these characters are disasters. Nobody here has their life together. Relationships fail constantly. People sabotage themselves. Everybody feels emotionally confused. And the series turns that emotional mess into comedy. Now obviously this show is not going to work for everybody. Some people are absolutely going to hate the humor. A few critics already think the show relies too heavily on shock value and crude jokes instead of deeper storytelling. And honestly, that criticism is fair sometimes. Certain jokes definitely try way too hard to be edgy. But when the show slows down and focuses on emotional awkwardness instead of non-stop chaos, that's where it actually becomes interesting. Because beneath all the adult humor and animal insanity, Mating Season is really about people terrified of ending up alone. And that emotional fear makes the show feel more human than a lot of live-action relationship dramas right now. It's messy, awkward, chaotic, sometimes uncomfortable, but also surprisingly honest in a way most adult animation isn't. And honestly, watching emotionally damaged animals struggle with love should not be this relatable.